This is Michael Dawes, Director of Public Relations at Barton Community College, and we're here with Renovation Celebration. And I think we're in the facility that's the showstopper of the day, the Case New Holland. I call it a lab. Is that what we call it, Bert?
Pretty much.
Okay. And this is Bert Besthorn. He is the coordinator and instructor of the Case New Holland program. And if people aren't real familiar with that, that's a program that we run all kinds of technicians and service techs through on a yearly basis. We got about 23 weeks out of the year. We have product in here and they're training on it in some respect. So Bert, the one thing I want to point out is you have this monster equipment here, and what did it take to get that through this door of this new facility?
Actually, for the new shop, it was a breeze. This new facility is better than double the size of what we had before. Our shop door is 20 feet tall and 40 feet wide. I mean, it's taken all the challenge out of moving equipment in and out. But as equipment gets bigger, it may happen again.
Now, tell me some of those magical times that you had with the old facility and what you were able to get into the facility, the old facility, which was essentially about half of what we have now, and what it took to get those in and what kind of equipment.
Okay, our old facility was roughly 50 feet by 60 feet. Our new facility, just the shop alone, is 72 by 100. We got a 30 by 33 classroom on top of that. The old facility had classroom storage and everything all in that 50 by 60 feet. And the widest door I had was 18 feet, and I also had a 14-foot door. And for combines, to get 2 combines in there, you had to back the first one in, the 18-foot door. You had to pull the header in the south door, hook it up, back up, get the header trailer out, and back the other machine in. And you had to position everything just right, or else things weren't going to happen. It was a challenge. You know, towards the end, I'd done it enough times that, you know, in 15 years, you learned by looking at the roof purlins and using your mirrors and things like that about where you need to be. But you know, there's times we had less than a half-inch room of clearance coming through doors, and usually coming in was easy. Going out backwards was usually the real challenge. So this is much nicer.
And I know one time you were a little stumped. You actually left, went home, and an idea hit you. You came back and actually made it work. So
yeah, we had big square balers in class, and I had 2 balers and 2 tractors, and that unit there is about 50 feet long, and I had a pair of them to try and put in there. And I'd worked all day, different arrangements on trying how to do it, and had one of them in there, and the other one I didn't like the way it was in there. And I went home and ate supper, and in fact I was in the shower. Damn, here's a configuration I didn't think of. So I put my clothes on, I came back out about 9:30 and rearranged it again, and it worked. So sometimes you have to get very creative with how you look at things and set stuff up in order to make it work. You know, getting it in is one thing, getting it in and get it arranged so you can get around it and open shields up and those kinds of things is totally different. So
and make sure your exhaust isn't going to hurt anyone. You got to make sure everything's connected in order to be able to turn things on. Yeah. You got a lot to think about.
Yeah, you've got to think about you know, safety first. And those kinds of things. You know, yesterday was my 30th anniversary out here, and I taught diesel mechanics for 15 years ahead of that. And you know, in 30 years, I don't think I've had anybody hurt worse than what a Band-Aid and a little bit of soap and water wouldn't fix. But you know, the potential is there, and you just got to be aware of it. You got to respect the machinery. I know we always encourage and require the students in class, you know, before you start the tractor, honk the horn to let everybody get their fingers out of the way. And you know, I don't want to send them home and say, "Oh, gosh, that was close," you know, type of thing. So and being spread out improves that tremendously, where you're not standing on top of each other.
I would imagine taking the challenge out of positioning things is going to allow you to do more to enhance your classes and move things along, because you don't have as much preparatory time in trying to figure out how you're getting equipment in here.
Well, that's true. You know, you're redirecting your time. The other nice thing about it is now you can spread the units far enough apart. This group's not eyeballing to see what the other one is doing, because typically when we set equipment up with problems, they got the same problem in both tractors. And so they're solving the same things at the same time. I have been crazy enough to let students put bugs in before, and sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. But when they do that, they get to role play, they get to play the customer, because they put the bug in, they got to know what the symptom is. They get to play the parts man, because anything they take off goes in their pocket. And they get to play tech support in case the other group has questions or needs help. Why, you're the expert on this problem. So it gets them involved in all those kinds of things, and maybe lets them see what some of the other job responsibilities are of people that they have to work with.
Now, I know you've been in this facility and run some classes through here already since the beginning of the year, but this is actually a very special day for you. You got 2 reps from Racine. It's not every day you get guys coming from the home office, the headquarters, to come see your operation.
That's true. We're very, very, very pleased that Pete and Ron could come down. Pete had been here before when he was still working as a service training instructor to help us kick off some products and classes. Ron had never been down here, and this is an opportunity for him to come down and begin to put faces to names and see facility and those kinds of things. And it should help give him a little bit of a better grasp on setting up calendar and those kinds of things. So.
Now, I made an assumption. I figured that the headquarters training facility had a bigger place than this, or a better place, but he said that's not the case. This is bigger than anything else they've got for training. Yeah, it looks like you're the big man at Case now.
Well, I wouldn't know if I'd say that, but yeah, this training facility, to my knowledge, is, I think, bigger than anything we've got anywhere else. Whether it be corporate sites or the other partner schools like Barton County that Case works with. I know I've been to Watertown. They just moved into a different facility, which will be bigger than what they had, but it's not this big. I'm not sure how big Lima, Ohio's facility is. I've not been there. Mm-hmm. And or up to Olds College in Alberta, Canada. So I would trust their judgments when they say this is the biggest shop they've got. So.
Okay. And one thing I want to do is tie this in, because I know Wally's going to get an award today. And I know without Straub International, you couldn't do what you do. No, you guys do a lot here. You train a lot of people and centrally located. We're accessible. But without Straub, this couldn't happen.
That's true. I mean, Wally was one of the big pushes to help us establish training here a number of years ago. He came up through a shop, understands the value of training and the need for training. And yet getting it at a price that is tolerable from his standpoint. But all the equipment that we get in and out here ships in and out through Straub's. We don't have a loading dock. I don't want a loading dock. We don't have some of the bigger forklifts and things that we would need, because like when the combine comes in, it's not on wheels, it's on blocks, and you got to put all that on. So it's consequently all the equipment ships in and out through Straub's, and they're responsible for getting it off the trucks and getting it out here. And in some cases, we've run into snags where, weather prevented the equipment from coming in, or it got diverted away from us. Somebody higher up the food chain wanted it. And been able to pick up the phone and say, can you help me out on an emergency basis? And Straub International, and to some extent Can Equip, which is the closest New Holland dealer that we have up at Ellsworth, Kansas. Not to the extent that Straub's has been, but both of them have been very, very good about supplying equipment and getting it to me when I needed it.
My last question to you, Bert, I'm going to combine your previous position with what you do now. You're the epitome of when one door closes, another one opens. I know you were going to be out of a job because the diesel mechanic program was closing, and you had run that for quite a few years, and you were looking at doing something else. You chose this. It was on a wing and a prayer and an idea, but looking at it today, it was the right move.
Yeah, of course it's obvious I like to eat, but when the administration came to me in '94 and said, don't take any new freshmen in the diesel program, I mean, that's the handwriting on the wall. And looking for something else to do, and I enjoyed training, I enjoyed education, and this opportunity presented itself. We jumped on it. Actually, it gets me probably closer to what my formal training is at Pittsburgh State University, going through their automotive program and ag machinery option. Gets me closer to what my training is. I also get 10 smiling, shiny faces every Monday morning that want to learn, and I mean it's fun again to come in and teach.
And I heard you say you have a 30-year anniversary here with the college, right?
Yesterday, I'm 30 plus today. Yesterday was 30th year that I've been here, and there's been highs and lows as with all careers, but it's been a good 30 years.
Okay, and with that, we're going to close this interview. I do want to thank you, Bert. You've done an amazing job here, and without you, as well as the individuals we've interviewed from Racine and, of course, with Straub International, this would never have been possible. So thanks a lot, and congratulations on 30.
Thank you.